Hello and welcome to the 72's YouTube channel, where today we're going to be predicting the Championship's top 6 and bottom 3 this season. And as ever, I'm joined by our social media manager, Adam Reek. How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks.
Good stuff. So let's get straight into it, shall we? The Championship's top 6 we'll start with. It's an open race, isn't it? Probably the most open I've seen it in a few years. A lot of teams chasing probably 4th, 5th and 6th in the table. So let's get started with your 6th place team, shall we?
Yeah, so in 6th place, I've gone for a side that, if you came to me 3 months ago, they were more likely to go down. But I think they've got games in hand. They've been winning most weeks. They've got a new manager in Sheffield United.
Sheffield United.
Sheffield United will come 6th.
That's a good show. I looked at Sheffield United before. They've played 29 games. That means they've got 51 points left to play for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so open their season. And I've gone for. I thought you were going to say Forest when you said I thought they could go down. Got a new manager in place. I've actually gone for Forest as my 6th place. I think they'll get 6th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's something about a Steve Cooper side that's just I can't trust them. Like you see it at Swansea, they're just a bit unreliable, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. Swansea fans didn't really like him towards the end because they felt like he was literally just a results manager, which, to be fair, if you can get results, then that's great. But I think Swansea, well, you've seen it in the appointment of Russell Martin, like Michael Laudrup, Martinez, Brendan Rodgers. They like their club to have a certain style of play, don't they? And they like it. And they're probably the easiest fans for patience and to please if they see that you've got a process in play. And Steve Cooper, like you say, he gets results, but I think you could say the way he handled that second season, yes, they got the playoffs, but, you know, he let a lot of his best players, maybe his contracts run down, maybe he didn't keep them as well as they could have. But that's on the club. But no, I think that's a good shout, which is why for 5th, I've got a side that, if you came to me 2 months ago, they're more likely to go down, but they've got a new manager. I've got Forest in 5th.
It's funny you should say that because I've actually got Sheffield United in 5th. So we've got alternatives there. But Sheffield United, I just love him under Paul Heckingbottom. I think he got so much stick when he got the job, didn't he? But he's just kept his head down. He's pulled the team together.
I'll put some bad tweets on about that appointment, man.
I mean, you wouldn't have been alone in that. I mean, Sheffield United fans, they couldn't stand it. I mean, didn't their owner, Prince, I don't even want to make.
I said I'm not bothered about what you think.
Yeah, and he just brought in Paul Heckingbottom, but good decision so far. Good appointment. They look quality. And Billy Sharp, most informed striker in the league, maybe, apart from maybe Mitrovic. Brereton Diaz falling off the pace, but Billy Sharp, he's banging in goals. Who you got in 4th?
In 4th, let me just put my notes up. I've gone for Blackburn Rovers. I think Blackburn will come 4th. If there's one side to drop out of the playoffs in this list, it will be Blackburn. But I just really like them. I think the whole spine of the team, like you mentioned there, with Diaz to Lenihan, you know, the defence is solid. They've got a good goalkeeper. Or from Gallagher, that lad, Cadre from Brighton. I just feel as if throughout Lewis Travis, like, you could just go naming so many of the best players. Ryan Giles, Harry Pickering. They've got just a good team. And I think in Tony Mowbray, they've got a good manager, but he needs to be careful because I always remember 2006, 2007 when Roy Keane took us up. I always remember him saying he created a bit of an argument with Sunderland and said, "I promise you, West Brom will finish above Sunderland next season in the Premier League." They didn't end up going up, so he needs to put his don't speak as much this time and just let his team do the job. And I think if they get playoffs, then I'd have them playing Forest home and away in this, the way I've lined it up. And, they've got a good chance of winning 2 legs and getting to Wembley. But, yeah, I think they've had a bit of a dip in form, haven't they? They need to get back. They need to get Diaz, like you say, firing on all cylinders again. Get some 3 points, keep going. And before you know it, the season will be over. And that's the aim for them now. Just keep doing what they've been doing all season.
Yeah, Brereton Diaz went off injured last night. Doesn't look like a serious injury, but if it is, could derail Blackburn's season. And like you said, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said if there's one team to drop out the top 6 now, it's Blackburn. I ain't even got them in my top 6. I think I'd really like Blackburn to go up. I like Tony Mowbray. I like the players. But I think the problem is with Blackburn because they've got so many people out of contract at the end of the season. Not enough of them. I mean, I don't want to make assumptions, but it doesn't seem like not enough of them have the kind of passion to want to go on and play long term at Blackburn. Look at Joe Rothwell, Brereton Diaz, who's got 1 year left come the summer. Dara Lenihan, isn't he, out of contract in the summer? I'm not a Blackburn fan. I don't know the full insights of the club, but to me, it just seems like they've got a bit of a weak mentality at the minute. They're just dropping out of automatic contention, and soon enough, I think out of top 6 contention. But so for
lately,
me, fourth place. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say just out of that. Lately, Ben's been more Brereton than Diaz, hasn't he? if he can get scoring again, then they'll be all right.
Yeah, he's got that ability, hasn't he? But fourth place for me, I've gone with Bournemouth. It's kind of like a Steve Cooper side. There's something about Scott Parker teams that I just can't trust. Like, you know, I'd never bet on Bournemouth because they're just too unreliable, too unpredictable. I think they've got enough quality to go up through the playoffs, but I just think there's 3 teams that are going to end the season more strongly than Bournemouth. And also the fact that now that Kiefer Moore's out injured, broken foot, 10 weeks, they've only got Dom Solanke, and if he drops out of form, which we know he can do, if he picks up injuries, which he has done in the past as well, they're a bit light on top. They've got Jamal Lowe, haven't they? But he's scored like 3 goals this season.
I might have agreed with you maybe a week ago, but you know they've won the last 3 games and they've got a point gap of about 4 on Blackburn and 2 games in hand. I don't know. I thought Fulham and Bournemouth, the top 2, it was written at the start of the season kind of thing, and I just thought we'd both have that. But no, it's a little curveball.
Yeah, I don't know. I fancy Bournemouth. But anyway, third place, who you got?
I've got Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough, nice.
Yeah, I think they're just, when I think of a championship team and what the championship embodies, I think Middlesbrough have all of it. And I think they're just the most consistent, and, you know, Chris Wilder's methods, they're the most sustainable. And I feel as if with every other side in the playoffs, you could see them maybe going 3 or 4 weeks without getting a win, but I can't see that with Borough. I really can't see that. And I think they're the best well-built side in this division after the top 2. Or to be fair, even after Fulham.
I mean, even under Neil Warnock, they were kind of organised, well-drilled, physical side. And now under Chris Wilder, they've just gone to the next level, haven't they? Third place for me, I've gone for QPR. Inconsistent. They lost at Barnsley over the weekend. Shocking result. Didn't have Chris Willock in the side, and I think Warburton spoke post-game about how QPR, they're not over-reliant on Chris Willock, but I think they are. Like they've got some good players.
For him to have to say that, it shows something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't come out and say, "Oh, we're not over-reliant on Johan Barbie." Like, why are you saying that? Like, do you know what I mean?
Johan Barbie is a quality player, by the way. But the other thing with QPR, they've not got an out-and-out goal scorer. Like Fulham, Mitrovic, Bournemouth, Dom Solanke, QPR, they've got 3 decent strikers in Andre Gray, Lyndon Dykes and Charlie Austin. They've not got 20 goals between them this season. I think that's QPR's kind of Achilles heel this season. They haven't got a prolific goal scorer. But so that's our 4 playoff teams done. Out of your 4, who are you backing to win the playoffs?
For me, I think I hyped them up enough there for you to know it's Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough will win the playoffs. I done some predictions just after the new year, and Middlesbrough I had Borough as the playoff winners then as well. And it won't change. If they miss out on top 2, which I think they will, because I think Fulham and Bournemouth for me now will just see the season out. Borough will come third, and I think they'll easily win the playoffs. The only team that maybe's might give them a good go as Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I can't seem to pick a team out of my playoffs. I've got Forest, Sheffield United, Bournemouth, QPR. I can see all of them winning it, and then I can see all of them putting in poor performances towards the end of the season and then dropping off. But to be honest, if I had to pick one out of those four, I'd pick a Sheffield United Bournemouth final. Either or, I'm tempted to go with Sheffield United, but
Bournemouth lost in the final last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
no, sorry, they lost the playoffs against Brentford in the semis last year, so they'll be the final this
year. Yeah, they got in under Jonathan Woodgate, didn't they? Somehow. So playoff place is done. Second place, I haven't left them out. I've gone for Middlesbrough. I think they have the ability to get into second place this season. What they're now, sixth place. They've just moved into the playoff spots. Now they're in there. We've already talked about. They've got that mentality where it's kind of never say die attitude. They've got the highest standards under Chris Wilder, and I think now they're in the top six. I can't see them falling out of it. I can see them going all the way into the top two, but it all depends on injuries, innit? There's still so many games left to play. But Middlesbrough for me.
The only thing with Borough is what you said about QPR. They don't have that 20-goal a season striker.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, they've got players who can.
They've got everything else. Yeah,
they've got everything else. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe if they can get Martin Payero back fit, if he can score a few goals before the end of the season. They got that Andras Sporar, aren't they, on loan from?
Yeah, they love him. The fans are
good player, but like you say, he's not 20 goals a season. But even when Wilder was at Sheffield United, they had Billy Sharp, but other than that, I think they quite heavily relied on Billy Sharp. I can't remember, to be honest.
You think of the amount of money they spent, even in the Premier League, on Ollie McBurney, Reece Brewster, they couldn't get a striker consistently banging in goals for them.
I mean, they're just.
Maybe that's a positive for his system. Maybe he creates a system that doesn't rely on one individual striker.
That's true, isn't it? I mean, you look at Wilder, Sheffield United; they had goal scorers all over the pitch with people like Chris Basham, darting up from centre back, scoring a handful of goals each season. Lundstrom, O'Connell. Who's your second place?
Bournemouth,
nice.
And then I think nothing really needs to be said for our first. Fulham's going to absolutely cruise on.
Yeah, well, I don't think we've even spoke about Fulham yet, but that's not to say that they're not, in my opinion, the best attacking side the Championship's ever seen.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the record is for the goals, but
it can't be much more than 100. But I did a piece on Fulham yesterday, and I was looking at their goal record. 78 goals in 30 games. They've got the best goal scoring form of anyone in the league this season by far, and the joint best defensive record. So it's not like they're scoring loads of goals and shipping in a load of goals. They're keeping them out as well. They're such a rounded unit, and with Mitrovic scoring a few goals recently, he had a bit of a dry spell. 4 in his last 4 now for Fulham. He's going to smash 40 goals probably, isn't he?
Yeah, comfortably. Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking here. Actually, the analyst done a piece on how many goals they've scored, Fulham. It will say here what's the record? Seasonal records, here we go. At the moment, they're going they've finished on 122 goals, and it's currently sorry. They'll end up with 124 goals if they keep going the way they are, and they'd beat the current record, which was set by Middlesbrough in 1926, but was only 42 matches, and they scored 122 goals.
It's nearly 100 years to the day that record was set. That's crazy. Just to even think. I mean, football back then, every game ended like 8-2 and 5-all, didn't it? But to say that Fulham could break that record in today's game just shows how quality they are, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, 100%.
So that's our top 6. Bottom 3, I think, will be a lot easier to predict. For me, it's a question of 4 different teams who could go down.
Right.
Let's start with your bottom team. Who you got finishing in 24th?
Barnsley. I think Barnsley will go down rock bottom.
Me, I've got Peterborough. They're just one of a few shocking teams in the Championship this season, but you've got to kind of feel sorry for them. They haven't got a massive budget. They had a few good players. Johnson Clark-Harris, who's just not taken to the Championship, has he? Siriki Dembele is now gone. He wanted out for a while. Got a feel for Peterborough, but yeah, looks like they're heading back to
their owner. If you have him on Twitter, their fans are like keep saying, "Will you please sack Ferguson? Will you?"
Darren McCann.
Yeah, and he's not having any of it. He's saying he's a man of his words.
Well, they want Grant McCann back, don't they?
Yeah. Well, look, at the end of the day, you might be a man of your word, Darren, but if you're not going to give the Championship a go, then what's the point of getting promoted? It's true. I mean, Ferguson's proved it a couple of times that he can't manage in the Championship. I don't get why he keeps persisting with him. And the next two games they've got Reading and Derby, which is huge.
I'm just looking at Peterborough's table now. They've got 2 games in hand, and they're still only 2 points away from safety. The team in front of them, Reading, I don't think anyone knows if they've sacked the manager or not at the minute, but they look as though they're getting pulled into it. So yeah, Peterborough for me, Barnsley for you. Who you got in 23rd?
23rd, I've got Peterborough.
Yeah. I've got Reading in 23rd. I think I've said on the channel before, they're just such a Championship team, aren't they, Reading? I think their time's just coming to an end. But I mean, they've got some decent players. John Swift, Lucas Zhao, who honestly on his day, I used to have a season ticket at Wednesday when I was at uni. Lucas Zhao, I've never seen a striker more complete in the Football League. Lucas Zhao is quality, but
on his day, it's his day about 5 times a season, isn't it?
Lucas Zhao, I'll just look at his stats now. Played 8 games this season, Lucas Zhao. Most of them have come recently, but Reading, Junior Hoylett, why sign him?
He's been all right for them, I think. He's got a few goals for them, but you say, the keeper's good, Luke Southwood. They've just lost Liam Moore.
Tom McIntyre, didn't Forest want him?
Yeah, Andy Iadam's a decent little player, but like you say, when you think of Reading, you think of John Swift, and they haven't really got anyone else. Like Josh Laurent, again, a decent player. Danny Drinkwater's a decent player, but everyone's got decent players, It's the fact. Do you know what it is? If they were to sack their manager tonight, would your decision change?
Sorry, what?
If Reading were to sack their manager tonight, would your decision change that they'd go down?
It depends who they get in, because they're not even in the relegation zone. They've got 1 or 2 games in hand on a few teams, but I don't know. 60 goals conceded. We always talk about Peterborough having the most shocking defence. Reading and Peterborough have conceded the same amount of goals this season.
The thing is, if Reading win tomorrow, then the 5 points clear of Peterborough. But Peterborough do have a game in hand. It's hard. It's hard to call, isn't it? It's really hard to call.
Yeah, definitely. Even adding on those 6 points that Reading had deducted earlier in the season, they'd still be in 21st.
Yeah,
they'd obviously have a bigger gap to the drop zone, but they'd still be in 21st. So that's bottom 2. My team in 22nd, I've gone for Barnsley. I said last week Barnsley are just shocking, and I still think they are shocking. I think they'll go down, but that win over QPR, that was a good game. They didn't play QPR off the park, but they had a game plan. They got it, executed it, got the win. And I think Barnsley have appointed some decent managers in the past. It didn't work with Marcus Schopp, but I think if Asbaghi can, you said Barnsley playing Peterborough in the next couple of weeks. Barnsley's next fixtures: Coventry, Hull, Middlesbrough, Derby. Tough games, but if you can get a couple of points out of that, I think they can start building some momentum. But when you're down there, it's just so hard to win games in it. Even if you've got 16 games left of the season, picking out a couple of wins out of that is difficult.
In 20 seconds, I've got Hull City.
Hull City
for the, look. No, it might be considered as a bit of a surprise, but I know they are sitting in 19th. But I thought they won 22 points, not 32 points. We're gonna have to cut that. Oh no, leave it in. You can leave that in because that's actually quite funny. That 20 seconds. So he's out of. It's out of Derby or End, isn't
it? Yeah.
Put Reading in there. Reading will go down.
No, neither of us got Derby in there.
Nah, I think that's just out of sentiment as well, though.
I think especially after watching the Rooney documentary, like I just don't want Derby to go down. I think Wayne Rooney.
Still laughing about Hull City.
Hull City. I honestly don't get why they sacked Grant McCann. Like I think
that bloke that they brought in.
Yeah, well, I wrote a piece just after Achonili Charlie's their new owner, just after he was announced. It was along the lines of he can learn from the Alam reign, who was the people in before Charlie. Don't go chopping and changing your managers just because. Hull now lost the last 3. I think Arvelad's won his first game in charge. 4 games at the helm now. They're at Sheffield United tonight. I can see them struggling next season, but they've got money now, haven't they? Or supposedly.
Well, yeah, that's it. And we all know how important money is in the Championship these days. That's selfie. No, go on.
I was just going to say money and parachute payments. Always, you look at it's always like a case of the teams at the top of the Premier League are the teams that have been relegated. Top of the Championship, the teams that have been relegated from the Premier League.
I feel as if they need to change it somehow because I get why it's in place, but it's a little bit unfair, isn't it? Like, I think, honestly, I was saying to my mate, I think from now on, over the next 10 years, there'll be probably about an 80% bounce back rate from falling from the Premier League back and going back to the Championship, which back in until recently, it hasn't been the case. You think of teams that have gone down and won the league comfortably, it's only Newcastle really that's ever done it. And Norwich, of course.
It just makes for such boring Championship seasons, I'm sure Premier League fans are the same, having to watch Norwich like twice every season, every other season.
No, 100%.
What's the point? Like, it's annoying, it's boring. And then for EFL websites, we like covering teams like Fulham, but it's only every other season. But yeah, parachute payments, that could be a topic for another video. But that's our top 6 and our bottom 3 for today. If you've watched the video, give us a like, subscribe, comment who you think might go up this season, who you might think go down. And join us soon for another video on the 72's YouTube channel.